Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to go over something a little bit different. I am what they call an everyday millionaire. That means I have a net worth of over $1 million. I posted it on my Facebook group. I got a ton of questions because I was basically like, hey, let me know your questions in business and real estate. Let me help answer your questions. Today, we're going to go over all the questions that people ask me and my reply to them to help you succeed and move up. Let's dive into it.
Welcome to the Smack Fest, the beat down. The SWAT team is here on another beautiful day of shutting the week down.
And hey guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Dauria. I achieved my financial freedom by age 32 through real estate investing for passive income. Now we're going over the Q&A from everything on Facebook that people ask me, and basically I responded because I feel like a lot of the questions they ask, you guys might have the same questions. Here we go. All right, so the first one is it harder to find deals now that everybody wants to get into real estate? And basically the answer to that question is this, is the prices for homes here in 2022 now have gone so much higher, and they went up so fast that rents haven't quite caught up to, the appreciation. So if you have a house that was worth $200,000 and the rents were say $2,000 a month, which is a good 1% rule, when that house next year goes to $250,000, rents don't immediately go to $2,500. Okay, they stay at $2,000 a month unless the tenant, they raise the rent significantly, they move out, or it takes time, or they're on a 2-year lease. You can't touch them to begin with. Okay, so it takes time. When prices are jumping, rents aren't jumping. So what's happening is prices are going up and rents are kind of doing this. They're catching up, but then prices are still going and rents can't keep up. So it's harder now to find a cash flowing property, a property that actually pencils out on paper, that actually works. So it's harder now to find. It's not impossible. I just bought a duplex last week. I'm closing on it in another week and a half. It is possible. It's 100% renovated. It's turnkey. It needs nothing. It's cash flowing just about 1%, just under. But the reason I bought it, it's so easy. Like, it is done. When I walked in, I'm like, what needs to be done to this? And I'm like, I can't find a thing. So it was so easy. It was hard to pass up. I was like, look, as long as I can park my money in this thing, it's appreciating and cash flowing. It's a hedge against inflation. I'm all for it. All right, next question. Is using your primary home equity to buy investment properties the best idea? How does that impact your primary mortgage payment? If it does affect it, is it worth paying more on your primary mortgage to get a few $100s more profit monthly? So basically what they're saying is, should I get a loan against my house to buy an investment property that's only going to net me a couple $100s a month cash flow? Because then if my mortgage goes up a couple $100 a month, I just did nothing, right? Not really. And this is how to explain it. So let's say you do a HELOC on your property or a cash out refinance on your primary property. This is what should happen, okay? Let's say you pull out $150,000, okay? And you can buy an area where you could buy something for $150,000. But this is what you have to look at. When you buy a property, you should right off the bat make money day one. Let's say you buy a property has a 25% equity in it, okay? It's a $150,000 property. You just earn without doing the math, like $35,000 ballpark in net worth on day one. Now you're going to be cash flowing, maybe minimum, to be honest, because now you took on some extra debt over here. But here's the thing: over time, rents go up. Okay, over time, historically, properties appreciate. You just gained $35,000 in equity right away. So right off the bat, you're already in a much better position net worth wise. And just give it a little bit of time. Rents are going to catch up, and it should cash flow sooner than later, because, and this is the great thing, is when you do a cash out refinance, it's a fixed 30-year note. Yeah, it's going to adjust with property taxes and such, but rents are typically going to outpace that over time. So yeah, your payment went up a few $100, but you also gained $35,000 in equity plus appreciation plus, I'd rather do that again and again and again and again and again, because in reality, the couple $100 that your payment went up, the tenant's paying for it anyways. Somebody else is paying all of this anyways. You just get all the benefit from the tax deductions and the appreciation of it naturally. Okay, so next one is any advice for somebody just starting out with not much money in a way of net worth. So basically, they're starting out, they don't have any money, they don't have any net worth. Let's just call it a 19-year-old kid, for instance, because that's most kids, 19, 20, 21. You're just starting, you're learning, you're not really sure where to go. And basically what I was saying is you want to find, it doesn't have to be real estate, guys. You want to find a business or a trade that you can learn, understand, and then branch off on your own. Let's just use roofing. I worked for my stepdad's roofing company for a short time when I was younger, and basically you would learn the roofing trade. You would learn, composite shingles and flat top roof and tarring, and you would learn how to do all that stuff, what the stuff costs, what to look for, and how to replace the roof. If you would learn like the grunt side of it, the grunt work, and then you would learn like the cost of replacement. Then you would start to back, and you would learn like the office work, the taxes, and the inside of the business as well. And then basically one of the last things that you would put together is, where am I getting my clientele as well? Because they're usually putting up the money. The insurance is putting up the rest. You're not out of pocket much at all, at least, maybe besides a credit card that you're going to pay off at the end of the month with the insurance's money. Okay, so what you're doing basically is you're putting all the puzzle pieces together. When you first start working, your first puzzle piece is you need to learn what a roof is. You need to learn, how to replace it and what to look for. The next puzzle piece might be how much does it cost, and you're figuring it all out. This could take many years, and then eventually you get to the point where you're like, hey, I can start my own thing. But then what I recommend a lot of times is keep your job, start your thing on the side. Okay, let your thing, your side job, your side gig, your side hustle actually make money, actually pay the bills, actually like build itself to the point where you're like, I can't do both because this is taking up so much more of my time and it's making as much or more money as this. And at that point, it's a no-brainer. It'll make so much more sense. But learn, like for instance, I actually sold, when I was younger, I actually sold motorcycles at a Kawasaki dealership. I learned for about a year. I learned how to sell motorcycles, how to talk to customers, how financing works. And then when I got into the bike business, I just took everything I knew and I took it with me and I just applied it. And yes, I made mistakes. I messed this up and I messed that up and I didn't know everything. And here's the thing, if you wait till you know everything, you're never going to start. Start making mistakes early so you can fix them early and you can move on early. So you get going now versus trying to be ready, because let's be honest, you're never really ready. It's like hanging out, you're about to skydive and you're like, are you ready? And you're like, not really. And what do they usually do? They just push you out. And then you're flying and you're ready. You're like, okay, I got this. We're good now. I understand. But if you sat there on the edge of the plane, you'd probably sit there all day. You're never really ready. You kind of need that little push, right? But here's the thing in business, you have to push yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Okay, so next question is, how soon would you expect to pay off a property before you buy one? They're basically asking, how fast do you want to pay off a property? Guys, this is extremely important. This is a mindset change, a mindset shift, and it's going to blow some of your minds all off your shoulders. My goal is to never, ever, ever pay off my property. See, the cash on cash return on your money on a paid off property is awful. It is terrible. The cash on cash return on leveraged properties is phenomenal if you buy the right property. See, I would have trouble sleeping at night if I knew my properties were paid off and all of that opportunity cost was getting basically literally wasted because I have let's just call it a $300,000 house. It's paid off and I have a $300,000 opportunity cost that I'm not deploying out into the market. Let me do some quick math real fast. Let's put down 20% on as many properties as 300,000 will get you, okay? You do the math, okay? You might have to look outside, San Francisco areas and stuff like that, okay? But let's say you can get 4 properties. Each one of those properties will get you a net worth boost of, at acquisition, at signing, give you a net worth boost of at least $30,000, $35,000 each single property, okay? You can make in 1 year, $100,000 on that $300,000 just by using leverage into something else. And then you also purchase yourself cash flow and deductions at the same time. So by using that money to keep it moving, see, money is like water. It wants to keep moving. And you want to keep that money moving because as soon as you park that money and you leave it sitting there, it's going to get stale. And hey, you know what? If you let money sit, it's not going to be moving for you. It's not going to be working for you. Think of every single dollar bill you have as an employee. Keep those employees moving, keep them working, because at the end of the day, the more properties you have, the better cash flow, the better appreciation, the more tax incentives, and the more opportunities you have. Like I'm looking at my portfolio now saying, which properties have the most equity that I can pull out of so I can buy an apartment complex? I have not been saving for an apartment complex. I have been putting money, all of it, into real estate. Now that my equity has been built up by others paying down the property and by the market appreciating, now I'm pulling equity out and saying, great, this is a big pile of cash that I would not have had otherwise. Saying, here I'm putting it into an apartment complex, which I'm putting 25% down on a 15-year loan. In 15 years, the apartment complex will be paid off. It'll be worth $4.5 million. And the down payment was made by other people's money to begin with. Okay, so next question was about how much money should a rental property make on the front end? And I'm talking like the actual cash flow itself, okay? So here's kind of a rule of thumb, okay? I don't look at properties unless they're at least meeting the 1% rule or really, really close with, good potential, good forecasting potential, okay? So basically a $200,000 property rents for $2,000 a month, okay? You want to look at it like this. You want to say, okay, it meets the 1% rule, and then you also want to take 10% for vacancy, 10% out for property management, at least $100 a month out for repairs if it's in good shape. And you want to look at the final number and then also subtract PITI. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance if you have a loan on it. At the end of the day, after all of that is considered, rewind this and write that down so you can actually do a formula on any property. You can actually do some math today on Zillow.com, okay? You can find the property taxes, everything there. At the end of the day, after all that is considered, you still should cash flow about a couple $100 a month. 200 to, let's just say, well, I shouldn't say up to 500. I mean, as much as you can, but $200 to $500 a month per door is what you would look for. I'm not going to say typical because most real estate deals are bad deals. Let me say that again. Most real estate out there is not a good investment. Okay, now when I say an investment, I mean like to cash flow as an investor. If I'm buying it, I want it to cash flow. Most of them do not cash flow. Okay, so you need to run the numbers, and you don't buy a $400,000 home that rents for $1,700 a month. Okay, pencil that out. See what that number is. It's going to be a big fat negative. Okay, so most deals you're going to pass on. Ooh, this one looks good. Now I'll print it. And I'll put it over here, and then I'll print it, and then I'll print it. And once I've looked at those deals for the day, I'll have, say, 3. And then I'll start digging a little bit deeper, and I'll figure out, is this one actually a good deal? Great, it is. I'll put it over here. Are these? No, they're not. Okay, so I have one deal. And then I can come in and make the offer that makes sense. The more offers you make, the more chances you have to be successful. Okay? You have to ask yourself, no, I want to ask you, how many offers have you made in the last 30 days if you're a real estate investor today? How many? I made 3 offers last week. Some people make 3 offers per year, okay? So that's the difference. 3 offers per week is over 150 offers per year, and the chances of getting some of those accepted are good. You're going to get accepted. So at that point, now you bought, a house per month. And do the math, you could potentially make $1 million that year in total IRR. That's internal rate of return. That takes in appreciation, that takes in cash flow, that takes in debt pay down, and that even takes in tax incentives. Okay, so next question. What my daughter is doing is tearing down an existing garage on their property and building 2 standalone units on that attached garage space. The main home will be theirs, and then they will rent the 2 spaces with the adjacent lots where the old garage stood. So they're taking an old garage, and they're putting like a duplex, or basically a duplex on top of it, okay? And this plan is about 3 years in the making because of building delays due to things that happen. What's the next step? So the next step for her is she needs to focus on that project, get it completed, because 3 years is a long time to be building something. Get it completed by any means necessary, okay? Even if it's taking out short-term loans, get it completed, because as soon as it's done, you get lease agreements in place, and then at that point, you can get it appraised, and then you can pull your money back out of that entire project. And then you can pay back whoever, small loans or whatever you needed to do to get that completed. Everything comes down to getting that job completed, doing a cash out refi if that's what you want to do it, get your money back out, and then redeploy that capital into more cash flowing assets. The sooner the better. See, every investor I've ever talked to in real estate always wishes they would have bought more properties when they were younger. 100% of them. I've never been a real estate investor who says, I wish I wouldn't have bought so many properties. Ever. And then the flippers always say, I wish I would have hanged on to all those properties because they made, 30 grand on the property and then it's appreciated 300 grand since they sold it. Okay. So I've always seen those two sides, and it's the same story from the flippers. It's the same story from the buy and hold guys like myself. Okay. So next question is, where do you do most of your real estate investing? And I put that I invest where I know. I invest here in North Texas. And there's a second part of this question, and I put, is it all residential or commercial? So I actually invest in, I have commercial, non-residential, and I have residential properties as well, single family and multifamily as well. Going to be buying an apartment complex here later this year. But out of everything that I own and I understand, I think, in my opinion, that the residential side of it, either the single family, multifamily, probably apartment complex, is safer because at the end of the day, everybody needs a place to live. We all know what happened with offices and office space in 2020, guys. That stuff does happen because, hey, are you willing to give up your office space or your home? Which one's going to be dumped first? The office space, every time, every single time. People do not want to let go of their home by any means. I mean, they just don't, okay? So your homes everybody needs a place to stay. It's a basic human need. It will always be a basic human need. So investing into something that people need, not want, need, is, in my opinion, always the safer bet. And that's it, guys, for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this content, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I make several videos, or at least I try to make several videos per week. Sometimes I get a little busy with the family and investing and all that, but do check back with me. Let me know if you have any questions. I do really enjoy answering them, and I will put my all attention, my focus to help you out the best that I can. Until next time, I will see you guys on the next one.